Ready, chat?
Pog.
I actually kind of want to draw the one that I just typed.
Alright, let's hope you draw it then.
What? Oh, I like this one.
This one that I have is too hard.
Oh, you got it.
I think you have mine.
You might have mine. Mine's probably pretty hard. Oh, I wish I could do layers. God damn it.
Yeah, me too. So I was just complaining about.
Actually, shut up, dude. You're not even.
Okay.
It's rude, actually. It's really rude what you're doing.
Actually, what I'm doing is not very rude. I'm adding detail.
I'm also adding detail. Damn, I fucking nailed this. It might say something about my ego that I say that a lot, but I did good with this one. So whoever did this one, very smart with the thickness of their lines, but they definitely should think about adding color.
That person was struggling.
I'm sorry. That was
Zach,
yours.
that was good.
Wow, that was
Not
yours.
great.
Damn. What, Diet Coke doesn't look like that anymore?
This is like a different action.
Oh, okay. Chandler, I fucking killed that one, didn't I?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wasn't that
the Ten
close.
Commandments from the Bible? I would have, Chandler, if that was me, I would have got that as Jesus. I would have probably thought they were talking, though.
Yeah, I don't know
Damn.
what I could have done with color there to make it a ping pong ball.
I should have thought of ping pong ball. I'm sorry. That was my bad. But that was actually really good.
It's literally just like a speck. You just click on the mouse to just draw.
Oh, we're jumping right into it. I was going to go get a Pepsi.
So yeah, no chances for what?
Thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first word of this made me realize this was Skylar's. They're like, this is just, it just makes sense.
First word?
Yeah, the first two
First word
words.
was- No, because my first two words are weird.
Why? No. Skylar's not going to be able to, Chandler's not going to be, whoever gets this isn't going to be able to guess because they don't know the colors. They don't know the colors. They don't know what this is. They don't know what this is. No. Make it blue. Make it blue. I hope the changing of colors helps signify that that this is not a Ronald variety. Dude, I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit, dude, someone really killed it with the drawing here. Chandler, I hope you like my drawing. Oh, I was wrong.
I told you. They are shredded.
Dude, I know, right? Isn't that such a hard picture? Holy shit, dude.
Yikes.
Dude, that's kind of good. Where?
He's proposing, bro. He's like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, he is proposing.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
That's that is an artistic interpretation if I've ever seen one.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
No! I said the thing out loud! I cheated for a reason!
I wasn't listening. I said McDonald's Dig Mac with size and frog.
Start the pod. No, I want to get a Pepsi, you fucking asshole!
Sorry.
This is so much easier whenever you use the tools given to you.
I have a hate message for whoever's I just wrote. Whoever's I just drew.
Okay.
Hate
Oh my god, I did my entire idea. Holy shit. That's a Okay, I know this is Skylar's. Oh, I got Skylar's.
Interesting.
Dude, didn't I kill that one, Snapcrap? I think I killed that. I like the detail. I knew that's what it was. I didn't have those exact words. Because I was like, oh, it's
Clearly.
definitely Skylar being spiteful.
Whenever we submitted our prompt, like I was looking at your guys' faces, and I just knew the way that Sky was looking at it. I knew he got mine.
Wait, did he look pissed? Did he look pissed? That would have been really
Yeah.
funny.
He just was deep in thought, like, oh, I seriously have to draw this serial number.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I spent the first minute of that time writing this will never happen.
All right, you guys ready for the cast?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mediak. And I tried to think of some funny way to start the podcast, but nothing came to me, so we're just gonna run right into it. Skylar, how has life been recently?
It's been going.
I guess that is fair. Chandler, is yours going any better than that? Man, this is the
Probably
worst
not.
fucking start of the podcast ever.
I got some projects that are kind of coming up. So it's a little stressful right now, but yeah, not much.
That sucks. You still working at that same place? We asked you that already we literally asked you that on the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Something that happened like 4 weeks ago whenever we did the original one. By original one I mean the original Mad Max. What a fantastic transition, Zach. We are still doing the Mad Max movies. This is the fourth one, the one that everyone considers to be good, Mad Max Fury Road. And you know, the entire time leading up to this movie, I had a thought. While watching the movie, I had the same thought, and at the end of the movie, that thought remained, and it was Skylar's gonna fucking hate this, cause it's just who he is. Because even if it was the greatest movie ever, just because I want him to not like it, he's gonna find some way to pull it around and be like, oh, this movie sucked. It wasn't interesting. It was boring. I fell asleep twice during it. And then I died, and then I came back to life, and that still wasn't interesting.
Yeah, the shit was still playing. This movie never ended.
Yeah. Is that your problem? Is that it's very long?
I'm not gonna give you anything yet. I'm gonna wait till we start.
We started. This is starting.
Yeah, but I want to hear you and Chan go first.
Come on, man. You're
save
doing this because of how excited I was just to hear what your opinion was. I love this movie.
This movie.
You have a lot?
Yeah, I wrote some notes and
I have many notes too, but this is like an average for me.
Meh.
I usually have a lot of notes on my board. Oh, you saw Chandler's reflection in my thing. There it is. But yeah, no. What do you have to say about this? So you actually almost spoiled your opinions on this movie to us earlier, and I think if I could try and translate from the cryptic messages you were saying earlier, you believe that Furiosa is better than this.
I agree. I still think Furiosa was really fun. I think it was a really fun movie.
Okay.
It was technically the only movie in the Mad Max universe that I've actually ever watched completely. I watched Furiosa, then I watched Mad Max. Mad Max 3.
Okay. You meant going into Furiosa for the first time. I thought you meant in general, and I was like, well, I hope not, because you would have at least watched 3.
I was gonna say we have just been reviewing a couple of them.
I would have hoped that you would have at least watched the 3 that you were on the podcast for.
Yeah, no, I watched Furiosa like a month. Whenever I watched it like day one when it came out or something.
That's so awesome. I'm really happy you supported them like that.
I never fully watched Fury Road before. I tried watching it like years ago, and I never got through like the first 30 minutes.
Oh no.
How it was filmed.
Can you redo that again? My Wi-Fi cut out for a moment, and there was a little bit of a break.
I'll just go back. I learned to like Furiosa when I went into theaters, and the first minute or two started. I was like, oh gosh, this is what it's gonna be like. Then I learned to like it. I learned to like it, and I grew to like the movie throughout. Does that make sense?
I think I do understand what you mean, because I haven't seen Furiosa, but I'm guessing it has the same like stylistic movements of like the camera. Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand completely what you mean, because the last time I watched this movie was whenever it first came out on demand back in 2015 when the movie first came out, and I really enjoyed it, but I obviously like was a child, so I didn't like fully understand how good it was. On rewatch, what was it?
Film brain wasn't.
Yeah, right. I didn't develop my brain at all. I didn't have any critical thinking back then. I just kind of watched things and was like, oh no, that's good. I like Batman vs Superman. And then like, you know, now I don't know. It doesn't matter. We could review those movies in their own time. But while at the beginning of this movie, it did take me a second to be like, oh yeah, that is its own style. That's what this movie is going to be. That the like craziness of it was to show off like that he's crazy, you know? And I ended up like fully coming around on it, because I actually wasn't sure what I felt like at the beginning, but then I was like, okay, I definitively
like this, and it was at us. I don't actually remember what moment made me be like, oh yeah, this is cool, but I stopped like thinking about it and been like, oh yeah, this is just George Miller's style, you know?
Yeah. Wait, who directs Furiosa?
George Miller.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely tell.
Yeah, he did all 5 of these movies. Mad
Oh.
Max is his baby.
Interesting. He really kind of popped off. I feel. I didn't watch the second one again. I still get to watch that, so I don't know
Okay.
how it differed from the first
You aren't
movie.
missing
But
much.
the third
Oh,
movie
okay.
was super different.
I think you
The
should watch the
Thunderdome was-
second one because I think the second one
def-
is very similar to this Fury Road that we just watched. And
Really?
after watching
Really?
Fury Road, I still stand by that. I think there's a
I
lot
think
more
it's more
talking.
right, I think it's right along like Thunderdome if you just mix in more cars.
Okay, here's the thing. It's it's more entertaining than Thunderdome. It's along the same route in the entertaining department, but in the film writing department, it is way closer to the second one. The second one doesn't have like nonstop action and like crazy shit going on, but a lot of the fun comes from just like Max living in the world and you just like visually seeing what's happening and using that information later in the film, which I personally enjoyed a lot. And that happened a lot in this movie. Like everything was important to some degree, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do get where you're coming from, Skylar, because the third movie definitely you can't you want you're if you're watching this in theaters, you're not going to fall asleep during it. At least
I'm
that's
surprised they found so much story to make on the road.
yeah.
And I was really perplexed.
Well, it's because he literally has been thinking about it for 30 years. One of the fun facts I had was that he came up with the idea to have like a movie long chase scene back in 1987. So he's been sitting on this for like a hot minute. It's not like it's an idea that he just kind of came up with, and he made Thunderdome in like under a year or something like that. The second he knew that he wanted to make it into a Mad Max movie, this one he just was like sitting in the writers' room, just going to town on it for several years. It was at least 20 years before he even considered making it a movie.
I will say I could tell that there was a big discrepancy in the time that these movies were made. You know, there's a big difference between 1980 and 2015.
Dude, this movie
Technology got a
looks-
little bit better.
This movie looks
So-
so fucking
It
good.
does look so good.
This movie, you could pause it at literally any point, and it's its own painting. It is beautiful. It is. Dude, you know that moment where it started whenever they went into the marsh area and it was just all blue except for certain like rays of light, and obviously that all had its own like symbolism and meaning. But from the moment where they had to latch onto the tree to get out of the marsh to the moment where they leave the night area is just it's just so fucking good because it's so intense, and that guy gets blind and he's just like saying like biblical shit while dual wielding AK-47s at the top of his car, just like
Oh, yeah, that was wild.
and then after that he just is like, I got this, and goes into the nothing, and then it like you hear a bunch of
That was
crashing and
hype.
shit, and he
That
comes
was
out
hype.
and she's like, that's not his blood. I was like, holy fucking shit, dude. Talk about like a campfire story hero. That was the coolest fucking thing ever. Like imagine I could imagine someone telling that part of the story to someone at a campfire. It was just so fucking sick. And that's not even to mention the actual badass moments at the beginning and end of the movie.
He went in with like a gallon of gasoline and
Yeah.
came out with multiple ammunition, guns, and whatnot.
It was just cool
Yeah.
whenever he was walking out and he just tossed the steering wheel to the girl.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was just so cool. A fantastic moment of that movie.
Mhm.
Man, and there's so many scenes like that. And that scene retrospectively is so much better because that's spoilers. I'm sorry. This movie's been out for like 10 years, so if you haven't seen it, that's your own fault.
Actually, 9.
Yeah,
Like every
whatever.
movie we review though is spoiler, so
Yeah. I hope that if someone's watching this, they either don't care or have seen this movie, because why would you want
Go to drink, Chandler. Go to drink. Orange Prime. Sorry.
No,
I need to shout out.
no Prime. Pepsi all the way. Actually, Pepsi's still a bad company, but I'm addicted to them. Coke's also bad. None of this is good for you, but drink it.
You know, like
Mm.
kind of off topic, but it does have to do with Pepsi and Coke. I saw like a funny video where someone made or Coke made a statistic or showed a statistic years ago,
Mhm.
years ago, comparing Pepsi and Coke, and Coke was like, "Yeah, we sold 4 times more cans than Pepsi did in the past year," and so Pepsi retaliated by making a little short of a kid going to a vending machine,
Oh
buying
yeah,
2 Cokes, stepping on them so he could reach the Pepsi.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that
That's just
one's
so
awesome.
ingenious.
I love that one. That was good.
Um,
I missed the
in order to
soda
keep
wars.
my thoughts completely like you can't tell, I'm gonna do one good and one bad whenever
Okay.
I talk. So and
Okay.
then I'm not just sitting here the entire time.
Okay, that's fair.
Um, I will say I did think the scene where he got blind was super cool and the AK scene was really cool, but
So
I
goofy.
think it's so dumb how the tree pulled it out of the mud. The tree cannot
Well, it was
move a gigantic
well, it
war
was also
machine.
moving, and Ryan, I do agree with that. That was a bit of a stretch, but that moment has a lot more like it was in there for a symbolic reason, not just because they had to do it from A to B. Because that was them tearing down spoilers. That was them tearing down the final tiny bit of the green that was left. Like
Yeah,
it just was so cool, and it was something that you wouldn't realize. Scout, 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 scout. Dude, this is the greatest cameo in the history of the podcast. Dude, look at her! Oh my god, she's so happy. Oh, I miss her. I miss her so much. Does she remember me? I wonder if she remembers me.
I mean, see, I don't know how dogs remember stuff, but if she saw you, yeah, she'd know who you were.
Oh, I love her.
She'd have to see you though. Like I couldn't say Zach, and she'd be like, oh.
That's
Although
fair.
she did learn you on like a name basis. Like when we would
That's
when I
awesome.
would take her, like I'd park my
You've made
car and
me
be like,
so
all right,
happy.
you want to go see Zach? And she'd start bolting down the stairs.
Skylar, did you? Sorry, I read something in my notes and it made me excited. Did you get the reference to the second movie? It was at the very beginning of it, whenever he first got the shotgun. It misfires.
yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
I was trying to think of what I like, what you were talking
Uh,
about.
it was just like
Like, I thought I like, whenever you said second movie, I did think of the shotgun
yeah.
immediately,
Oh,
but I
because that
forgot it.
I'm happy. I'm happy it did. And then he also used that as a veiled threat whenever he went to the girls for the first time. I also
Yeah.
one thing I really fucking love about this movie in specific is that it actually shows excuse me, it actually shows Max being mad cuz he kind of just was like a silent guy in the last two movies. A guy that kind of had his shit together inside of the wasteland. But there's no denying that Tom Hardy was a little bit crazy or weird, especially with all of the fact. Sorry, especially with the fact that every single thing he said was a grunt. No,
Yeah.
me.
Um, what is it? One of the things that I did like was I did like the scene where, it was Max oh my god, it's Furiosa, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then her, like, girls that she's trying to save, and they're all, like, outside the gigantic bus,
yeah.
and they're basically, like, all fighting Max. I but, like, I think that, like, scene is
That
super cool where
choreography is
it's, like,
amazing.
the girls are, like, trying to, like, help whenever they can because
It,
they don't
yeah.
want Furiosa to get hurt, but at the same time, I think it's so dumb that Max just blatantly started attacking whenever
Why?
they showed no sign of aggression.
Well, he didn't like just. It was in a moment. Furiosa got close to him and, attacked him because he had his weapon out, and then he retaliated because it's the wasteland. You can't just like let shit like that happen.
I mean,
If
yes.
someone attacks you and tries to take your gun, you got to beat the fuck out of them because that's the most important thing ever. And also, that choreography was just fantastic. Nux changing sides halfway through was just like beautiful, and the fact that he held out the magazine as Max put the gun into it, oh, so good, dude. I
Oh,
loved
that was good.
everything with that cult was fucking fantastic. If you don't understand their rules and rituals by the end of that movie, you're just fucking stupid. Like they showcased the entire thing, hand down. They showed that like they have an overarching like lord, and then they have different factions of the different cult, and each faction of the different cult has different rules and stuff. Like, oh, it was best, some of the best world building ever. It was up to oh my god, it's up there with One Piece with how good the world building is in this movie. Fantastic, so good.
I agree. That was one of the things I wrote
Um,
down too. I said I liked how they honored people sacrificing themselves,
Dude,
or
yes.
that they actually believed in something. So,
Yeah, the witness me.
yeah.
That's like one of my favorite moments in the like that first chase scene. Even though the final chase scene of the movie is basically like a 40-minute long action set piece that took, I think, like 137 days to film. Just that one moment, like that one long ride back. Um, that beginning moment where we are like learning, we're seeing it from the POV of the cult because Max is tied to the front of Nux's car. I love that because it's literally just like everything is happening and it's like an action moment, but it's also showcasing the villains of the movie and like what their whole deal is. It's storytelling without realizing it's storytelling. It's fantastic, amazing, 10 out of 10, and it even showcased like how they grade things. Like they have it's like that's shiny if it's cool, or it's like that's mediocre if it's
Mm.
bad. I really liked how they have like their own specific terminology.
I do like how the like bad guys in this are, well, I say bad guys in quotes because I mean the one guy's
My
name
mom
was
just got home
Nux.
and my dogs are going crazy. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Mm.
Just keep talking.
Okay, but like I like how they're obsessed with Valhalla, and like I think that's cool that like that's like brought through, and the big bad was like, I'll take you to Valhalla myself. But like immediately, I mean, which makes a lot of sense. Like he instantly like tripped or got stuck on something, like his chain got stuck and he started dangling off the side and he
It was
immediately gave up and started going
mediocre.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then but like that, I personally am like not a fan of spraying their mouth. Like it doesn't do anything. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know. I think
does.
that's such
Do
a,
you not know that paint gets you high?
I did not know that.
They
I did
they
not
do
know
that
that.
so that they can the purpose of it is so that they can like release their ambitions and commit suicide without any worry of pain or anything like that. They do it for a reason. They're not just doing it because it's part of the ritual. They're doing it so that they can suicide better.
Interesting.
It's fucking like this cult is so the, the fact that this took 30 years to make. I just something about it just oozes that to me, and like every section of it I'm just like, this is fucking amazing. I i don't i don't just love this movie, I adore this movie. This movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And after watching it last night, I definitively know I'm going to be making a video about the four of these movies, and then I talk about the fact that this is definitely on my top 10 list because I want to watch it again like tonight. It's just
Maybe
so
you seen
fun.
Furiosa yet?
What? I haven't seen Furiosa yet.
Maybe wait before you. Well, I guess any movie can be a 10.
Yeah.
Multiple movies
I
can be a
still
10.
think this movie is up there. I don't know if just because it's on my top like 10 list doesn't mean that it's a 10, because I honestly only think there's one or two on my top 10 list before Fury Road that are 10s. I'm going to need to watch this a couple more times if I want to give it that ranking. 10's a pretty high number there, friend.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
Like,
perfect
especially
film.
if it's out of 10.
Yeah.
in my opinion, a 10 is like if you're at a theater, you're buying a ticket for the next showing. That's a 10.
That's fair, yeah. I have to like I guess there's like movies that fill different vibes because I think I do have a 10 that's not like a perfect story. Like there's some flaws in the story. So it's technically not a perfect movie, but because it hits a certain vibe, it's just like, yep, that's it. That's the one. That's my favorite. Yeah, but this movie's fantastic. Um something that I wrote down that I thought was really funny and it showcased like how much more immersive this movie is than the last one was that excuse me,
I know what it is.
what is No,
It's
it's something that
it's
you're not going to be able to guess. But
it is. It's the double-headed salamander at the beginning of the movie.
that's so true. That immersed me so much, and I actually
Yeah,
really
you're like,
like
"I'm
it.
locked."
I'm locked in. I really like that. Yeah, you guessed
Yeah, but
it
then you
right
saw
out
the
of my
bus
mouth.
from Fortnite, and then you're
Dude,
like, "Never
yeah.
mind,
I
I'm
can't
locked."
believe that this movie was just all about the bus from Fortnite. I can't believe they were drawing that. I mean, they were driving that the entire time. That's crazy. But something that showcased like how immersive the movie was, at least compared to the other ones, was that my mom, well, one, didn't go on her phone during it, but also during the movie just kept going, "Oh my god, this is crazy," or like she would say like, "Wow," whenever like something would happen and it would be like some sort of explosion and some action sequence, she would get like stressed and worried about like the different characters because she thought that they were actually in risk of danger, and that you usually you'd be like, "Oh, it's because they're actually real stunts." But she didn't fucking feel that way in the last three movies, and someone actually got hurt in the second one. So if she didn't care about the stunts in that one and she did in this one, then it showcases that she was at least somewhat into the story and the world of Mad Max, because I think it did a phenomenal job of that immersion. Witness me. Sorry, I thought Skylar was going to say something, so I stopped my talking, but it looks like he's processing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I agree.
Buffering right now.
Yeah, I don't think Skylar liked this movie, uh, and I'm not necessarily shocked by that. But after watching it, I came to the conclusion that I also don't want him to like it because uh, then it makes the podcast more interesting, and there's
Wait,
larger
Sky,
debate.
I'm really curious. Like, why don't you like it?
I've never said one way or the
Okay,
other. This is
say one
always
way
I've
or the other. You know me and Chandler like it.
okay, I will. Do you want me to give my rating then?
No, no, don't give your rating. We still have plenty of time, and I still have plenty
Uh,
of things to talk
I'll
about.
say I'll say one way or the other whenever we do our number. That
Okay,
way, it's
that's fair. So,
Okay.
then say some
like
more stuff
I'll
as
say some reasons why I don't like it.
okay.
Um, some like one, this genre is just not for me.
That's fair. It's
It's
not for
just
everyone.
it seems like to just generalize them all together, like, not specifically this one, but this is essentially just nonstop action and senseless violence that doesn't have, like
No,
I don't think it has a good enough plot to justify
no.
all of it. He's just there because it's a wasteland, and it's like, "Oh, they do bad first, so I do bad next, like, bad back." Like,
You gotta be bad in the
it's
wasteland, man.
yeah, but at the same time, there are cars. Drive away.
He
Like
couldn't have driven away in that moment. The only
well, there's a
moment
cou in the movies, in certain movies, he could.
that's fair. And
In some of them, he couldn't because he ran out of
I'm not
gas.
gonna defend the other three. I'm defending this one to the grave though,
Yeah,
because this one
that's fine.
that's
But,
that's my thing.
like, that, I think, like, just Max just being, like, an all around, like, badass
Badass.
is cool, but at the same time, it's like, it gets kinda old to me. It's
I
like,
mean
I pretty
we
much
also
know
just
exactly.
grinded the
I
four
almost
movies out. That makes sense that would get old.
what?
I said we just kind of grinded the four movies. It makes sense that it would get old.
Yeah, like, I've seen it like, I essentially could pick out what he's gonna do the entire movie in any given thing. He felt very, like, predictable, minus, like, a couple parts, I would say, like, "Okay, I didn't expect him to actually do that." But most of the movies, I felt like he was super predictable.
Chan, he
Most of
just
the
went into the
movies,
movie
the
not wanting
music
to
was
like the
absolutely
movie.
fucking
Dude,
terrible.
the music in this one was fucking kick ass.
That's
It
the
was so
classic
kick
mode,
ass.
classic mode. This one had good music. Um, there's still movies with better music, but
Yeah.
again, this was 2015 and it is
Well,
now
I mean, it was
2024.
fucking. It still was fucking.
So
It was pretty fucking.
which is fair.
At a certain time,
Um, in
the
this one specifically, the grandma who hates the guy
yeah, I wish she
had an
shot him in
open
the
shot
face.
and she
Didn't do
yapped
it.
until
Yeah.
he got to her gun and then he just took it. So
That is a genuine tiny little
Yeah.
problem. I also I didn't like how quick Max flipped around at the very end. I wish that was like given a little bit more time to breathe. But I honestly think that those two together don't knock off too many points in my books. But those are
um,
two things that I just were like, okay, I can't
And
really
then
excuse those.
one more, whenever they're like, I don't know if this is exactly what you're talking about or if I think you're talking about something else,
I don't
but
care.
whenever they're like, okay, how do we get to like the green? He's like, oh, it was where we were at, like the
Oh,
entire time,
well,
and they had to
no,
go
no,
back the
I don't
entire
mind that
way.
scene, and I actually really like. Well,
They bought in too quickly. They were
the
like, oh, it's way over there. Like I
but
know.
that's
He's like,
no.
nothing but sand. Trust me.
Well,
Other
why
way.
would okay? He told them something that was true, and to something that opposed to something that they don't know about. That's not the part that I was upset about. The part that right before that exact scene, he was like, "I don't want to go," and then the following scene, he was like, "Okay, I'll go." But I
Yeah,
understand the
that won't
fact
go.
that because they were like, "Oh, the green doesn't exist anymore, so now we're just gonna wander until we either die or find something." And he came to them and was like, "We could either go back where there's water and fight for it, or we can just go gamble and probably die." So
Yeah, but that they had like such a strong resolve about like we have to get away from here to go to the green.
well, I guess that
And
I mainly thought about it not in the idea of like getting away from that location, but getting away from a Mortan Joe.
I
And
mean, I
now that
guess
the
I
green
took
was
it
completely
as
gone, and the base was, well, one thing major that Max said about that was that the base was undefended. So as long as they either got back before Morton Joe or what happened in the movie, killing him along the way, they were kind of guaranteed to win.
yeah, but I took it as they wanted to get away from that place because it was where all of
That's
their
fair.
like pain was at. So like
That's fair that you have that interpretation, but
yeah, so I figured it was like, oh, let me get away from like the place that has caused me all this trauma, all of this pain, and all of the people who've just like watched me along the way. Like get
yeah,
away from
but
that. And
water's
he's
kind
like,
of
what if we go
cool.
back? And they're like, oh, okay.
Water's pretty cool though.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool, but they also had like a
Okay, they didn't have that much water
they
and
no,
endless
they didn't have that
supply.
much water, but at the same time, like there was
Wait,
like, oh yeah, we just
was it endless
traveled
though?
this far to get
He
away.
said he
Let me
was
go back.
pumping it up from the. Well, they traveled only about a day's worth, which I guess is a lot, but in the grand scheme of driving 177 days in the other direction, it's kind of not all that much.
I mean, no, but at the same time, what if the gamble was better?
I just
Like,
think Skylar didn't want to like the movie. I that all
no, I'm just trying to tell
Chandler
you my
Chandler
legitimate thing. They
Chandler
were like,
Chandler.
you ask me
You
my opinion, I tell you my opinion, you tell me
he
my opinion's
he's saying his
wrong.
opinion, and
No,
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong.
you just
You're
said that.
valid to have your opinions, and it doesn't matter how your mindset was during the movie. You ended up not liking it. I'm just saying you went into the movie not wanting to like it.
So
No, that's
Scott,
not it at
essentially,
all. I just didn't
so
like
is
that
Zach
scene.
That's
saying
fair.
is Zach saying it's valid to have an opinion? It's just your opinion isn't valid.
Essentially, that is what I'm being
No,
told.
there's just
I'm
no.
like, I
Here's
don't
the
like
thing,
that one
okay?
scene. And he's
Okay,
like,
no, no,
but
no.
there's
Your
good
opinion's
things in
valid.
that.
Your opinion's valid. You're allowed to have it. I'm just saying it's a sauceless opinion. There's no sauce in it at all.
What do you mean? Mine's literally about gambling. Mine has
It's
so much
there's no
sauce.
sauce. There's no sauce. I hey no. Just on. I mean, here's the thing. We technically don't know what Skylar's overall opinion of the movie was. He just has been telling us things that he doesn't like about it. So
Yeah,
we could
I'm
just
just telling
flip
you the
this
scene.
around. We could just flip this around, and we're just feeling an overwhelming negative force right now because he's just listing the negatives. And then in 5 minutes, he just goes on like a 40-minute rant about everything he likes in the movie.
Can I add to the fire though, as
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
add a couple negatives?
Yeah.
I really did not like Max's character. I don't.
Th-
I
I
the
think that
acting horrible.
is Tom
Agreed.
Hardy's fault. Actually, I think
Ditto.
that's George Miller's fault because he filmed the movie out of order and random and made sure that no one on set knew what was going on. And there's not really any reason to have done that. And it caused a lot of infighting. This is one of my fun facts. And Furiosa's character, Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy fought each other. They fought with George Miller, and Tom Hardy has gone on record saying, "Yeah, my acting was god awful in that movie because I just didn't know what was going on at any point, so I didn't know what emotion to show or how to feel." And you can definitely feel that in the movie,
Yeah.
100%. I stand with that like big time.
At the very end, when he's like, "My name's Max."
Yeah, I
like,
fucking hated that. It was so
where was
cringe.
the emotion in that? That was so fake.
I don't like their love scene. I think that at the very end had them like having a moment together is forced because like
Mm.
even though they like even though they showed a friendly relationship, I only ever felt like they were friends or that it was about to be forced into a lame relationship. I definitely
You
felt
know what
like
was
that was
also
forced.
fun?
Hmm.
Like the relationship between the traitor, the guy who went to
Nux.
the good side,
Yeah.
and the girl. That was so fake too. It
Well,
came out of nowhere. It
yeah.
came out of
It
nowhere.
definitely was fake, but I didn't mind that one as much because of how short-lived it was. And I'm just like, well, I mean, if they have only ever spent time with a Morton Joe, I mean, it's not. I mean, anyone's gonna look handsome compared to that, you know. So you leave
But
it, and then you're just like, well, that's a handsome guy.
how did she immediately befriend him? Like he was kind of a
Yeah.
stowaway, right? How are you
Well,
not like you're a bad guy? I don't want to get off of our
I think
bus.
that kind of goes to my point that I was saying against Skylar because it's not like they were 100% against the cult in that location. They were just kind of not happy with a Morton Joe because, especially with how she reacted to Nux, he was upset and sad that Joe was looking down on him. And she just was like, hey, dude, he sucks. I hate him.
Mhm.
You hate him. We're cool now. And the guy's like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, you're pretty chill.
But
I'm
at
not saying
first,
their love story was interesting. I'm just was saying that it makes sense that she wouldn't hate him because he wasn't like he just was
He
doing
did.
what he believed his entire life. He wasn't doing anything maliciously.
right? But I just
Max?
don't.
No,
Wait, what were you
Nux.
gonna say, Sky?
Oh, Knox. Mm.
Max is always
I
malicious, no matter what is going
Yeah, I was
on.
gonna say they literally had a fighting scene.
Yeah, gotta
I,
love
I
him.
just
Ah,
don't.
so good.
I just don't understand like how she was so friendly to begin with. Like she didn't know he was sad for the
That's
reason he was
fair.
sad.
I
Like
I
how
think
can
there's some sort of
I'd be cautious in
this
that.
is a bad podcaster. I think there's some sort of thematic reason to it, and I think it's probably not the Fates because their religion is somewhat connected to Norse mythology, but I felt like the girls had some sort of like oracle like
Mhm.
references, especially the blonde one. So I because remember how I was talking about how during that blue scene they had a couple every now and then they had like yellow lights flashing on certain characters or objects to show importance. Uh, if you rewatch that scene, I was gonna say movie, but I doubt Skylar will rewatch it soon or ever. But if you rewatch that scene, it's all blue and like certain things are like glowing, and it's like the this is gonna sound really bad out of context, but there's like a light shining on the dead pregnant woman. There was a light shining on uh, some character or some part of the car, and then right after they had their moment together, they had like a light shining on specifically her, and then the blonde oracle lady, and it was showing of some sort of significance to the three girls. I didn't put it together exactly, and I didn't look it up. I kind of just want to figure out that puzzle myself
Mm.
on rewatches.
Interesting.
But
I
yeah.
did not notice that.
Mm.
I will say I kind of get why he was or they were like so trusting of him in a way because he was just laying in the back forever
Yeah, and he was just
and he didn't do
crying. He was
anything.
just
Yeah,
laying there crying.
and yeah, he was just kind of like overwhelmed that he was like promised to be like walk to Valhalla, which was so much to them,
And then
and
he
then he
embarrassed the
instantly got
fuck out of
like give
himself too.
yeah, then he instantly got like given up on.
Yeah, it wasn't like
So
his
like
buddy called him mediocre. It was like his Jesus calling him mediocre. That
yeah,
that was the worst
so
thing
like
that ever happened to
him.
him.
I see, like, why you would be like, "Oh, why do they trust him?" They don't know that. But, like, I think it wasn't that, like, they looked at him like, "Yeah, we can trust that guy." It was, "Wow, he's been back here for
Well,
who knows how long, and
to
he's
a
just been laying
degree,
there."
he's also a victim like they are because even though
Yeah,
they never were under the assumption that Emulsion Joe was a good guy, but they still relate to him because he had been raised and built up to believe that this man was a god his entire life. It's not his fault that he believes that way. It's because of his situation. So they're not going to just well, at least the women, they're not just going to kill him because of who he is. Max might. That just kind of yeah, that's just Max.
yeah.
I think he recovered too quickly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Personally, if I were to like know like if my
Oh, you mean that specific
Jesus
recovery.
figure or whatever, the person I looked up to,
Yeah.
were like shun me in the way that he was shunned, that would take me days to recover
Yeah.
from, like mentally.
I
How did he
definitely
just like
agree with
switch
that.
sides so quickly?
But also, he
I
probably
agree with that, though.
isn't one the smartest because they consistently spray paint into their face, and two, he recently shot paint into his face and also was in a car crash. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that he probably isn't running at peak performance. But
Okay,
I'm not gonna
Um,
excuse that. I do agree with that. That's a life changing thing that probably
no,
would have.
just because he sprayed the spray paint in his face, I don't say that that's gonna like make him stupid or anything. Because people like kamikaze, like knowing full well what they're doing, like
Right. Yeah.
it's
I guess
they
that's
have a
fair.
greater
Yeah.
meaning themselves. So
yeah, I still agree with Chandler. He gave up way too much on his
Yeah.
idea of a victory
Yeah.
just because of like one thing. I mean, it was a very
Yeah, but
big
his
thing.
death scene was really good because it showed that even in the end, he still heavily
yeah,
believed in what he believed in.
He,
It
well,
just
he
was a
believed in Valhalla. He didn't believe in
w-
the person walking him there.
he still said, "Witness me," right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He had nothing
good
else
point.
but to believe in that. He just was like, I'm at my end, and I'm gonna bring my religion to its end by sacrificing myself for what I now believe is a greater cause. Cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else do I have? The fact that in that scene, I don't know why I didn't mention this earlier, but he was like, I should have ridden into Valhalla and been Mick feasting. He literally said Mick feasting. That
He did
and
say McPhee.
like seriously too, which is the best part of why that's funny because in the religion, Mick feasting is a part of it. In the equivalent of their 10 commandments, it says Mick feasting.
McDonald's.
Mac
That's
and
what I
cheese.
thought of immediately.
Yeah, dude, me too. That's so funny to me. Isn't it McDonald's? I would assume that's just McDonald's.
Yeah, I didn't eat dinner yet. I'm getting
I'm
hungry.
sorry, I'm
Especially
making you
this time.
hungry. All right, okay. I'm gonna get into some fun facts that I have, and then we can talk about numbers. Unless Skylar has more points, or Chandler has
Um,
more points.
I'm okay with bad points for now.
Okay, Skylar. Oh, oh, bye, Chan. He's messing this up because he just rearranged the Mediak order. Oh, no, we're back. What happened there, bud?
Sorry, guys. My screen froze, so I just left and rejoined.
No, you're good. Sorry, what were you saying, Skylar? Were you gonna say a thingy?
Yeah, so I was like, I don't there are other scenes that I don't really like, but the big ones got addressed, so
Okay.
I'm okay with moving past
He's
the
now
bad.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I
You
mean, unless you
gotta
want me
at
to
least
go.
okay. I'll ask you a question. Is this the best one of the four?
We'll see.
I damn. I that it's gonna really suck if you say Thunderdome was better than this. I think that if Mediac ever gets popular and you stick with the idea that hypothetically, I know I don't know your solution, like your answer right now, but hypothetically, if you like Thunderdome more, the internet is not going to like you very much. I'm just putting that out there into the water. Did
They're
you
going
want
to
to
look back
start
on this
saying?
episode and you'll get canceled.
Yeah, there's a chance you might get
So
canceled.
think of that whenever you list your number.
No, don't think about it because the only people that are going to be watching it are the goats right now, and the goats don't care. They like the three of us. They like listening to
Right.
us. So you can say whatever you want right now. I'm just saying in the future, there's a chance. Chance you might be worried. Did you?
Never worried.
You're never worried. That's good actually, especially in volleyball. You shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, especially whenever it's Chandler.
Yeah, especially
I'm
when
on
it's
the other
Chandler.
side of the net.
Yeah, whenever Chandler's talking about somebody who he looks up to shunning him, that's actually just me to Chandler. He's
That's true.
actually still sad.
Yep,
That's why he's
that's
not
true.
going Saturday.
Yeah. Factual statement. They play
Okay, do
volleyball
you want to
together.
lead off with
Yeah, I might have to
something
show up.
good?
I might have to show
I,
up on Saturday.
I'm gonna start listing off some fun facts I have about it. I think I might have gushed about everything I wanted to talk about that aren't the racing scenes just yet.
Can I mention a couple things before you get into the facts?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Let me see. We pretty much covered everything I wanted to say too.
Yeah.
The guitar man, the guitar guy.
Yeah.
Every scene, like whenever they showed like
Whenever he's
zoomed
like
up,
throwing the fire.
he was like the main left side of the screen. You saw all the little cars on the right. That was so cool.
He was one of the only shining lights in the blue, and I don't think there was any symbolic meaning in that. I think it was just because it's badass.
Yeah. I like how they were still fighting around him and he was still playing.
Yeah,
Like,
and
he
it was
still
so
beating the
cool.
guitar.
That was very cool. I was gonna say, even whenever like Chandler said when he was fighting, he was still trying to play. I also like the fire
Yeah.
coming out at the end, and then all the gigantic speakers behind him, and how he was like rigged up
Yes. Yes,
to like a
man.
thing. He was just like,
I loved how they had
Yeah.
their own car for the score. It's
Yeah.
so cool. Fuck yeah, it's cool, man. Love that stuff. Did you have other points you wanted to say, Chan?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly why. I just knew that after it happened, I had it write down. I don't remember much, but just the intro, like the narration or whatever it was, I
Yeah.
thought it was very good.
I liked it
It had
too.
the
I
double-headed
also
salamander.
it did have a double-headed
I
salamander.
don't remember that, but
That's probably because of the second world altering event that they had, the nukes. I still can't get over that in the Mad Max world they had two. They had two world-ending events, and somehow people are still somehow Max survived both of them.
so wait,
What a guy.
was there a world? There's a world-ending event listed in the Thunderdome movie, right?
I think they're just talking about. I don't know. At the
Like,
beginning of
where
the
were these two world events? Because I didn't watch the second movie. Did I miss
before the
one?
first movie, there was some world-ending event that made it into the wasteland that's in the first movie, and then at the
Okay.
beginning of the second movie, they say that nukes hit the world, and apparently that was not what happened to cause the wasteland in the first movie. That was a second wastelanding that happened in the Mad Max world that
So
made
even
it.
if like the first wasteland causing event, they
We-
still had access to nukes, and there was still like
Apparently,
Mhm.
nationalism was still a thing.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going with that assumption.
You see why this? It's just action, action, action.
It's so
You're
like
telling
that.
me that many people
I agree
survived
with
two
that.
world-ending events?
The most of the franchise is mediocre to bad, but sometimes I really like that. Like some of the most of the really like the far exaggerated stupid shit. That's my favorite part of this universe. Like
No.
Lord dude, I bring him up I brought him up
Lord
every
Humongous
single
is
Lord
actually funny. His
Lord
like flexing thing was
Humongous
legitimately funny.
is
But
the
there's been
greatest.
nothing even close to that since.
What? Morton Joe is awesome. Well, not awesome.
No.
He's crazy. His whole cult is great. I think the entire I don't remember the name
It's a
of
good
their
cult
big
theme.
cult. Yeah, but like that's as good as what Lord Humongous was in my
No,
opinion.
Lord Humongous himself is hilarious.
Lord
Nothing
Humongous
is
is the
even as
greatest
close
thing.
to that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, nothing
He was a
like
big
that
flexing
funny.
guy.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I really laugh at the moment in the third movie where they're talking. I'm. It's gonna be boring because I'm saying the same joke I said last episode, where he just goes bullshit and then they go pig shit. I think that's funny. I give
There
him
actually
that.
is one more scene I didn't like, and I'm like scrolling through my notes to see what I missed. And the breast milk scene was kind of yucky.
Yeah, no, that bordered on
It's-
one of the lines that I'm just like, you could have just alluded to it. You didn't have to show it. You know.
Or it could have just been regular milk.
Nope. I'm
Or they
fine
just
with.
would not have drank it.
I think it. No, I think it makes sense for the universe, but it would have just been better if they just said it, because then it's up for interpretation, even though it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Like,
But
can't wait to drink this.
Like,
no, well they had a name
Drink
for it. They were
Cola.
like it's mother's milk. My mom didn't
Yeah.
think it was breast milk whenever they first named it that, and that's honestly a good thing if someone can interpret it in a
Did you
good
see
way.
it coming? Didn't you?
Yeah, you saw
Wasn't
it.
it like
She
okay? Yeah.
realized what it was when you saw it, but when they first said it, she
Okay,
was like, I didn't think that's what it would be, and I was like, I'm
Okay, I was
sorry.
gonna say there's absolutely no way that your mom saw that scene and did not know. Your
Yeah.
mom is way too smart to not think that.
Yeah,
I think that it was kind of cool how they incorporated mother's milk into just the movie because
yeah,
if you think about it, they only have water. Like there's no
Yeah.
juice. Like they might have
Yeah,
had like
no
some
Coke.
plants growing up on like those plateaus or
bro.
whatever.
Imagine living in a world with no Pepsi.
Right. So like made me think like, man, mother's milk is just like the ultimate beverage compared to water for them.
Yeah, like that's
Like, that's their flavor.
that's their Pepsi.
Yeah.
What did he call the water? Hydro cola.
I
Nice.
don't know.
Aqua cola or something like that. I thought it was I thought that was stupid, but in like a good way. I'm just like, why? What's the point of
Yeah.
double naming it? Okay, I'm gonna start saying fun facts, and then we can start getting into Skylar's transition process of saying the number.
Okay.
Skylar, do you want us to say our numbers first, and then you go through
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna have and then, like, after my number, I'm gonna give, like, my main reasons
Okay.
for my
Okay.
number.
That sounds
Okay.
good.
Some of
I'm
them have been said, some of them have not,
okay.
so it's
That's
not gonna be
fine.
repeats,
I'm
mostly.
gonna say some fun facts, then we can get right into that. So I already said a couple of them. Like he came up with the idea for just one long road movie back in 1987. He thought of the idea of making the transport like what they have to transport people in 1998 because originally in the script it was just oil again. But in 1998, whenever he was actually like doubling down and getting ready to actually make the movie, he was like, we got to switch it up a bit, make it a little bit interesting. So the idea to make it people came around that time. And then they were initially going to start filming in 2003, and Mad Max was going to be Heath Ledger, but they had a bunch of issues within that, and they ended up delaying it. And then Heath Ledger died, obviously. So
Heath
then they had
Ledger
to.
would've been a stick.
Yeah, he would have been a fucking he would have been an insane Max, dude. The world in which we get Mad Max Fury Road with Heath Ledger is the world that I want to live in, but sadly that's not this world. Uh, the shoot for the movie had to be canceled for a series of weeks because just like the second movie, rain came in and stopped the movie from completely happening for a
I
series
mean,
of time.
I see why they're okay with doing 2 world-ending events. They had that happen twice
Yeah,
to
I know,
them.
right? Like, especially in the last movie. No, sorry, in the second movie, Chandler, they specifically picked a location because it hadn't rained there in it was either 3 or 4 years, and
I think it
then
was 3.
they go there and it rains for 2 weeks straight, and they're just like, wow, this is crazy that this happened.
Yeah, it's
It
kind of bizarre.
and something similar happened with this movie, but it wasn't as like mystical. Like it wasn't like a 3 year gap in rain in their
You
location.
know
Yeah,
It
what
it was
just
REM
30.
rebound is?
what was it?
You know what REM rebound is?
I don't think so. No.
It's it has to do with like your eyes and whatnot. So it's like if you are sleep deprivated, whatever the word is, for so long, there will be a day where you like sleep for more than 12 hours.
Hmm.
Like that, your body does that. It's called REM rebound. So like I don't know. I'm associating that with the rain. It's like we went a couple years without it, so now it's just rain for like
Yeah,
a month
we're just
straight.
gonna have to go
That
all at
might
once.
be that might be it.
We're gonna stack it
Yeah.
up. So, oh crap. So there actually is a company in real world that sells like edible spray paint, and when
Okay.
after this movie came out, they got super confused because they got not only a massive influx in purchases, but also an insane influx in reviews that were like, "This is Chrome," or like yelling some cult stuff at them, and they just were really confused and didn't understand anything that was going
Oh
on
no,
because they
dude.
didn't know the movie came out. And I thought that
So,
was really funny. I
that
thought
is
that was
funny.
great. So this is the only sequel movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture, coming from movies that hadn't ever been nominated. If that makes sense.
It's a very specific
It is
category.
a
What's
specific
that again?
category, but like
Wait,
usually,
you say that one more time, Zach?
so it's the first movie, it's the first sequel to be nominated for Best Picture, coming from movies that have never been nominated. Because
Okay.
usually the first movie or the first or second movie is like the best movie and they go progressively down. But this was the first time that
It went up.
it went up at some point.
Mm.
Well, hypothetically, and most people eyes, we still have one
For some
unknown.
people,
We still have one unknown right now. And we all
you
know
do.
that Skylar is the definitive movie ranking people, and
Yeah, I'm actually more legit than, like, a lot of things
everyone.
online.
Well, the reason why the movie didn't win Best Picture was because they hadn't got Skylar's rating yet. They can finally put in the actual voting poll for 2015 now when Skylar says his number.
Yeah.
There's a chance it might get Best Picture, but we don't know yet. We don't know.
No idea.
Yeah. So that guitar apparently weighed 132 pounds.
Holy! Yeah, props to that guy. That's
They
insane.
had bungee
Held
cords.
up for so
They
long.
had bungee cords on it, so it was like not
But
necessarily as
still,
bad.
he has to, like, make it
I
look like it's a regular
Yeah,
guitar playing it. It's
yeah,
130 pounds. It's probably
yeah.
10 times the amount.
He said it was crazy because that was a musician. I didn't write down his name, and he got interviewed and he said it was really hard because of how heavy it was. And I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. That adds up.
why was it so heavy?
I don't know. Maybe all the props on it or like what it
That's
needed
what
to
I
do.
was
Well, because it
thinking.
had to shoot fire because it had
Yeah,
to
so
have
they
a
had to have,
lot of
like, a
stuff on it.
flamethrower.
Yeah,
And probably had, like, liquid for, like, gasoline to, like,
yeah,
shoot too, and
yeah.
liquid's just so heavy.
I already
And then,
mentioned
like,
that. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, and then it also probably had the attachment for the bungee cord
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
So,
It just was a
it was
lot.
probably just a ton of things just all added on.
Yeah,
And then he was also wearing stuff too, so
yeah. Probably
it
not a
just
good
was
time.
confusing.
So,
Yeah, it's probably fun for
excuse
him.
me. I already mentioned that Max and Furiosa, their actors, had a poor time on set. They actually ended up apologizing to each other and George Miller on the day that the movie came out after they saw the movie and realized that it wasn't terrible. They were like, okay, maybe that was kind of worth it. And for Furiosa and the next Mad Max movie, Mad Max: The Wasteland, they were like, okay, we're not making this movie unless everyone is like completely understanding and is down to not have like a shit time on this because of how bad that Tom Hardy had it. Because he went on like a rampage on. He would not like he didn't do it like Dakota Johnson did for Madam Web and been like, oh yeah, this was shit. He wasn't like that. He just in one interview was like, yeah, it was just not a good time because I had no idea what was going on, and I think that came through in my performance, and it does. But
Yeah.
the opening and the end of the movie almost wasn't in the movie because they were not able to, due to some stupid reasons within the CEOs of companies and some location issues, they almost didn't film the Citadel scenes at all. So the movie just almost was only the road, and they were just gonna have to figure it out in editing. But luckily, they managed to figure it out, and they got those scenes shot, obviously, because we watched them in the movie. They're also American. Oh crap! The American like movie association that does the ratings and stuff really wanted Warner Brothers to make the movie PG-13, and Warner Brothers was like, "Oh yeah, great idea because we'll make more money because PG-13 movies make more money." But then they showed the
Yeah, sure.
PG-13 version to test audiences, and test audiences did not like it. So they ended up reverting it, and I think that was definitely for the better because this movie would not have worked in
No.
PG-13.
Well,
Well,
um,
I guess it was fine because they didn't hate it, but it just wouldn't have
well,
been as cool.
is it true that PG-13 movies make more money?
Usually, yeah, because not any, I'd say not anymore because people have learned that like you can make a good movie and still make money
Anything.
with it, like with Logan and Deadpool. I just only listed superhero movies, but
Yeah.
recently rated R movies have been getting more money. But in the past, PG-13 was like that was the goal.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
All
I
right,
add one
Yeah.
Skylar.
thing
Oh
that
wait, no, Chandler. Chandler
You
has
go
to go
first.
first.
I just want to add one thing that I forgot to mention. I like the Citadel and I really like the water scene. I thought it
Mm,
was super cool.
yeah,
Just how it just like came out and how they closed the hatch
yeah.
or whatever like super soon after like
Yeah,
all
and
the
he
water
said
out.
that line. He was
I was like,
like, "Too much of it will make you go mad, because
yeah,
then you'll crave it whenever you don't have it or something like that." I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking
it's a
good
tough
line."
line, but you know he's a hypocrite.
Yeah,
You know he's a
exactly.
hypocrite. But
It's so good.
yeah, I thought it was just really cool. I thought it was a cool scene. It really like put into picture how
Yeah.
scarce the water is and
I
stuff.
there was a bunch of really cool lines in this. Like I feel like every line was written for the intent of being a one-liner, which I guess
Mhm.
like could be a negative, but in the world of Mad
It is.
Max, I like that. I don't think that's a negative. To one man's trash is another man's treasure, Skylar. But
I
I
agree. I
really
actually agree. It's
that's
alright.
fair.
If you like it, that's your
I
thing.
really enjoyed the like back to that blue moment where he went back into the fog and disappeared. Whenever what's her name like asked about it, Furiosa was like, "Oh, he's retaliating first," and I really like that line because it's one of those quotes that don't make sense, you know. And I just thought that was really funny. Not funny, mainly just cool. I just was like, oh, that's a hard line.
I just personally think it's better to, like, instead of making everything a one-liner and hoping one of them sticks, just, like,
All of them
put
stuck.
all your marbles on, like, 3 of them.
All of them stuck. Witness me.
Mm,
What a wonderful. Oh, no, it's like what a day. What a wonderful day. I really like that. That was a great one.
well, I
That was
think
a
the
good.
best, like
One of the Apes movie, right?
What was it? No. Oh, yeah, that kind of is in the Apes movie, but that also was in Furiosa. I mean, not Furiosa, Fury Road. Whenever he's driving the car and Furiosa hits the war. What was it? The war pig? No, what the war vehicle into another car and it gets picked up in a tornado and it explodes and people go flying and Nux looks up at it and he's like, "What a day! What a wonderful day!"
Oh yeah.
I really like that moment.
I think, like, the best, like, quote, unquote, like, one-liner is whenever, like, Knox is, like, flipping the car and he just, like, points.
Oh
Like, that
yeah,
is, like, the coolest one. It's not even a
witness
one-liner.
me. Well, he says
Like,
that one
all
more
the
time to
one
the girl. He says, "Witness me."
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think the witness me is the coolest part. I think it's the point.
There's so much cool about that scene in that movie. Great movie. Oh, I love it. All right, Chandler, do you want to go first with your number?
Yeah. 8.
8? That's a solid one.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a reasoning for it or?
I just thought it was super entertaining. Like I would never give it an 8 years ago. I had to watch Furiosa, and just like the reason that I
Accept the
kind of
style.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was in the theater. I was like a minute in. I was like, damn, I really just paid for this ticket, and I'm just this. But I grew to like it, and that's why I really like this movie.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I really like the things that I just didn't make it a 9 or a 10 for me was Max. I just
That's
did
fair.
not like his
Yeah.
acting. But that was really it.
Yeah.
No really complaints on me.
So
I'm excited to see what Sky has to say.
I'm also very excited to hear what Sky has to say. We're just gonna sit here quietly while he just goes off on a tangent about how his opinions on the movie. Like I'm excited. I like okay wait. After I give my number, Chandler, we have to guess his number.
Okay.
And wait, Skylar, you need to pay attention to this because this is going to be one of those unanimous things. Whoever gets closest to his number gets a Mediak medal.
Well,
Okay,
technically, I'm
can
gonna be the
we
closest.
make this into a
Well, no,
game?
I meant like between me and Chandler. Chandler sat forward for this. He was like, now it's a competition.
Well, I'm trying to think. Have you ever played, the numbers game?
Yeah,
Yes.
the one that we play at dinner.
Yes. Is there any way we can somehow turn that into this?
No.
I don't think so. Let's just do this
I'm
quick
not giving
because
you
we're
any
we're already at an hour. This is the longest we've ever talked about a singular movie. Like this is the first time we're gonna have a podcast fully about a movie, and
And you're
I'm actually
halfway
really happy
through.
about that. What?
And you're only at the halfway point because I still have everything.
Oh shit! No, no, yay.
About what everything you didn't like about it.
All right, Skylar, do we have your approval for this wager?
You do have my approval to
Chandler,
obtain a Mediac medal for
this
closest.
game.
Well, do we do closest guess or if you're within like 1?
Within 1, I'd say, because like
Okay.
if we both say like 2 and it's like an 8, I don't think either of us should get it then because we just
Yeah, if you say 2 and
sucked.
like one says 2.5, you don't deserve to win.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're within 1.
Okay, I have to give my number first in my reasoning, and then we can do a guess. So you could have time to think about it and see what you think Skylar is going to say. I give this movie a solid 9. I think that the plot points that I picked out weren't big enough to remove that much of a pointage at all. And Max's performance is a little sour, but I do think that his grovelly voice is comical enough to me that it makes up for it in some departments. And all of the action is fantastic. The cinematography is the best ever. And George Miller really comes into his style in this movie. And it's jarring at first, but after you like settle in and accept what you're watching and how it's just going to be batshit crazy from the start to the end, it's an insane ride. It is such an incredible experience. So definitely 9 out of 10. All right,
Fair.
Chandler, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with a 3.
Ooh, dude, that is a low rating, dude. There's no way that I hope that there's no way that this is a 3. If this is a 3, holy shit, dude. I'm gonna go with a 6. Cause like I choose to believe that he thought this was an above average movie. Because I don't know. This is complicated. Alright. Alright, our
Are you
votes are in,
ready?
Skylar. I'm ready. Also, I wanna make the rating out there. The Mediak medals, whoever has the most at the end of a franchise gets to choose the next set of movies. Chandler currently has 1, and that's the only one that's out of the 3 of us. So if I win, then me and Chandler are gonna have to do a tiebreaker in the next episode somehow.
Do you want to hear what if I were to win? Can I list?
Oh, he just lagged out again. Oh.
Did
Or
I
maybe
freeze
that
there?
was me lagging out. Okay, so I'm gonna edit that out. Something happened in the Wi-Fi, and in the Wi-Fi, I sounded like those people in the TikTok Congress meeting. Do you know what a Wi-Fi is? Skylar, are you still okay? I'm so happy
Gotcha.
it's not my connection. The entire time I thought it was my connection. I might not
Yeah.
edit it out actually now because then it's not as embarrassing for me. That's so mean.
Are you both ready?
Chandler, are you here and ready now?
I am ready.
Okay. Hopefully he's here for the rest.
I can say neither of you got the Mediac medal.
No.
Neither of you are within 1.
No.
Watch it be like a 4.5. He split us directly in the middle.
No.
No, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
What? No way! What? What the fuck? Dude,
This
you
movie was
pulled
actually really good.
you pulled a fast one on me, man.
Yeah, this movie was actually really
Dude, this
good.
movie fucking slaps. You are
Yeah.
dude. The Axeman YouTuber needs to change his name because you played as like a fiddle there, dude. You acted like a king.
Okay,
Damn.
I'm gonna go through my notes.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought the
everything-
6 was a little high.
Okay, I will say, I listed everything I had as a negative.
Okay.
I only talked about 2 good things,
I'm happy.
and I have this.
Oh my god, that's a
How
Yeah.
lot.
about an 8? How can that be an 8 if you have that much bad to say? About
No.
That
Those
much
those
good.
are everything he has to say. That not just the bad.
Yeah, that's everything. I only had 4 bad things on that list.
Oh.
I just said them all.
Yeah.
So I'll start off. I think it was very good action to start out the movie. I was very impressed with that. It had me hooked from the beginning. It was very immersive. I didn't want to tell you that because
Right.
obviously it would have bought
Yeah.
into it, but it was very immersive. I was very locked in. I did take away like a slight like 0.1 because he ate the salamander and that was cool and I like that salamander. The driving point of view,
Yes.
phenomenal.
Dude,
Phenomenal.
I love the cars.
It
in
was
this
so
one.
cool.
I can't believe we
Um,
barely have talked about the cars.
Yeah, I
We're an
know.
hour in.
That's like half of mine in.
Yeah.
It's like all the designs are so
The-
cool.
I-
They're all
dude,
so
yes.
unique and fit like the
Yes.
cult and like the escape thing so
Yeah.
well.
The
And then
truck was
Max is
so
like,
good. Oh, dude,
um,
what is that thing? It was like several cars stacked on top of each other. It was so sick.
Another thing that neither of you talked about that I thought you would have, it was all the writings on the wall in the grandma's like thing.
Yeah.
That was so sick.
Yeah,
It like
yes.
showed how crazy she was going because
Yeah.
of this guy and how
Yeah.
evil he like actually was.
It was like you
And I was
don't
like, that
own
is
us or
such
something like
insane
that.
thing.
That was
Those
really
were-
sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
those were-
Yeah, and then it had really good action and really good effects in this one. It looked like it was more modern.
They were practical. They were
And
practical. They
they
did
were
this stuff for
practical.
real, which was
And it
awesome.
had good music and well, I expect good action and I expect
Yeah.
good effects from this movie because it's been throughout all of them.
Yeah.
But this one also had really good music. The
Yes,
music
it
was
did.
actually really good.
Dude, it
Um,
fucking popped off.
And neither of you talked about like the dust storm, how sick it looked on
Yeah.
the inside, and there was like
Dude,
lightning
that
flowing through it. You
tornado-
could barely see.
That tornado
Yeah.
was
It
so
was so
cool.
And then Max is on the outside. You could see like
Yeah.
how the sand's like actually hurting
Yeah.
and like everything like that. And he's like on the outside trying to figure out a way to get in.
Ah, it's so good.
And then so I thought that was
The
so
second they
good.
hit that sandstorm, I
Um,
like vegetable way more than before. Like I went all the way down and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a great time here.
Yeah, I
Can I
agree.
just say real quick that
Yeah.
like the first hour, I feel like the first hour of this podcast, my life was a lie.
Yeah, dude.
Now
It
knowing how
is.
Sky feels about it.
I hope this is one of our largest retention podcasts because it insane how much of like a twist that was.
Yeah.
The fans, because people have been consistently watching the last three, actually only two, because the third one hasn't released by the time of recording. People are interested in it for the most part, and if someone watches all three of the podcasts, comes up to this one, goes an entire hour, they're gonna be fooled too. There's no way they won't be.
I appreciate it. And then there was another point in where they were trying to get away, but like the dirt bikes were jumping over top and dropping bombs
Yeah,
on them. That was so like clever and so unique. It like actually it's they were actually like utilizing what their like vehicles were good
yeah,
for. Like finally, before it's not just I drive fast, I slam into side. Like no, the bikes
yeah.
are jumping over. The war like bus is trying to knock things away. The other ones are trying to get in front and
War
like
bus. That's what
slow
it
it
was.
down. It was like a good use of the
Yeah,
vehicles too. They didn't just use vehicles because they're vehicles. They used
everyone
vehicles
had
because it was their weapon.
strategy.
Yes, they all
Excuse me.
did, and it was very relieving.
It
And
was
then
thought through.
uh, um, I put the did
War
an
rig.
insane amount of help
Yeah,
for like joining later. He did
Nux
so
was
much.
him.
I would argue he did more than Max.
He did do more than
Like,
Max. Max, all he
yeah,
did was grunt and threaten
as
them.
he did like as much as like Furiosa, like
Yeah,
herself. It was insane.
I don't know
He
about
was the
that.
reason they managed to get as far as they did.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah, he helped them out in so many ways. He fixed
Yeah.
their vehicle like 3 times,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
he
don't. I
allowed them, and he was like he did a lot.
that actually
He was
brings
like
up
an
a great
undercover
point.
guy.
Yeah. So I one thing I really like about movies in general, like what makes a good movie, in my opinion, is whenever the audience isn't getting their hand holded. And there's a moment at the end of the movie where Max just runs up to him and he goes, "You black thumb," and the guy goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "All right, come with me." And I really enjoyed that moment because they're relying off the idea that you can use context clues to figure out what the fuck black thumb means. Because like in a
Well,
worse movie, they're gonna be
I
like,
mean,
they're gonna either come in, not even say it, and be like, "Do you know how to work an engine?" Or come in and then say, "You a black thumb," and then some other person goes, "What's that?" and then they explain it. But they didn't do that. They just kind of went off of the idea that you're gonna be smart, and I like that.
well, I knew what a black thumb was
Yeah.
beforehand, so I knew what he meant, like, right
Well, I know
away.
that,
But,
but a lot of people don't.
yeah,
Yeah. I
maybe.
was one of those people.
Bam.
Okay. Okay.
My mom didn't.
I stand to be corrected. Okay. That's I'm wrong.
But you can use the
But
context clues because you're not an idiot,
yeah,
and the movie relies on the fact that you're not an idiot.
and
Can
then,
we agree real quick that Furiosa was her?
Yeah, she
yeah,
was queen, bro, the
She
entire
was the
time.
bad.
She was sick. She honestly probably was the star, apart from like a handful of Max moments. But like
I think Nux was a star.
you say
I
Nux
think
was the
Max
star.
had
I actually do.
Max
I
had
actually
Nux
do
was
mean
kind
that.
of him. What was that?
Max had one good moment. It's whenever he went,
Into
uh,
the fog.
yeah, and
Yeah.
came back. It was like that was peak, but I can't say anything else he did. It was kind of better
He
than what Fury did.
That's fair. He
Just-
stole a
just-
war rig at the end of the movie, and then they had that really awesome shot of it exploding while he was like going across on that thing. But that technically wasn't something that he did. It just was
Okay,
cool that
but
he was a part of.
I'm not trying to sway your opinions, but this is why I have Nux as the GOAT.
Let's hear it. Yeah,
So he was ride or die.
he was. Yeah,
got-
literally.
He got destroyed morally.
Yeah,
Broken. He's like, you know what? Like, I'll find my own way there. Got with them, helped them achieve their goals while still trying to figure out who he was. And then he got them there, found who he was. He's like, I just want to like help these guys. Like, I'll get into Valhalla
he
my
had
own
sex.
way. And then managed to get into Valhalla, taking down the person who destroyed him morally in the beginning.
Skylar, you
Wow,
forgot
they
the most
achieved their-
important part. He had sex too.
Did he
He
really?
definitely did.
He totally did. Because that's what that moment was showing whenever it showed the light on her in the blue. Because they were cuddling and she was holding her stomach, and only her was glowing yellow. And like, I don't know if you guys know this, but whenever they describe pregnant women, they call them glowing. So I was like, oh, she's the only thing in the scene that's shining right now. She's holding her stomach, and they just had an intimate moment on the top of the truck. Dude, my boy Nux was in there. Skylar, I can't believe you forgot the most important fact about him.
I know. I can't believe me.
I'm disappointed.
But
Keep the rant
yeah.
going.
And then, well, it's coming to a close actually
no,
very
sad.
soon. I have like I was so happy whenever he did, like, the flip and he pointed.
Yeah,
Like, that was, like, the point at which I was like,
it's a great movie. You were
because
like, this
I've
sold
never
me.
I was like, "This fantastic writing of this character.
Yeah,
He is
great.
he deserves this all." And
Everyone
then
was great. Every character. Oh my god! Fun fact: the man who plays Immortan Joe is the same guy who played Toe Cutter in the first movie.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fun fact. Sorry, I forgot I had that one. Keep going, Skylar.
But, yeah, so those were all the reasons I liked the movie, and that I did not say before, but I did already mention all the reasons I did not like the movie.
Right.
So, I gave it an 8 because, well, I had a pretty large like to dislike ratio, and I I might watch I would be I like, there's a chance I actually watch this movie again,
I
and
will
I
watch
would
this movie
recommend
again.
it to some people. Like, I would recommend this movie, and I might watch it again. So
Hmm.
it's, like, almost to that, like, I would watch it again and would recommend. It's, like, I might watch it. I just have to be, like, in the mood for, like,
Right.
action. But if I'm in the mood for action, this might be the movie I
It's up
pick.
there,
There's,
dude.
like, a handful others that are, like, that I might pick over it just because of, like, some other aspects in it.
Yeah.
But, like, this is very high on the list, and this is just pure action, and I'm not a fan of pure action
They
movies.
fucking nailed
So,
the
like,
action
it to
too.
make me, like, fully engulfed in it the entire time was very impressive,
Yeah.
I think. So it deserved a higher rating for it being, like, basically a movie that's type disadvantage against me,
I think the
to say
reason
in no fun
why
terms.
the pure action part of the movie was because like I get where you're coming from. I would describe this as pure action, but it was incredibly well written in the way that the action was presented to because that first initial road fight scene it is only as good as it is because you have so many questions and as the fight happens you just continuously get small bits of answers like who are these people, what is this cult, what are they doing, why is she going away, what are they all about, and you like as the fight happens they start killing themselves, they show different aspects of the cult, and then right whenever they get like halfway through the fight you see why she is escaping and they slowly like talk about that. It is 100% just a fully action movie, but the writing of how the action is presented to you in the world itself allows for it to like step above. I can't think of a Transformers. It allows you to process it way more in a more like I don't know, well written way because I definitely describe the Transformers movies and Mad Max in a similar boat, but this Mad Max is way better written.
I would agree.
Is that
Well,
is that how we're
that's
ending
all
it?
I
No, no,
have.
no. I got two questions. I
Alright.
got two questions. I got two questions specifically for Skylar. One of them is a half question for Chandler. But you watched Fury Road with Block, right?
I watched the first 10 minutes with Block.
Did he pass out?
No, my family decided that we were gonna go to the pool, and then I
Mm,
got back from the pool at 8 o'clock, and I'm like, "I need to
mm,
go home."
that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
so I watched it, like, the next day.
That's okay. I forgive you. I was really
Yeah,
excited to hear what Block's opinion of the movie was because I'm
the
not gonna
15
lie. I
minutes, he
think
was
he
like
would have. You don't think he would have liked it?
he said I was like, "Are you gonna go back and watch the movie?" He's like, "Mm, probably not."
Ah, come on, man.
So,
Like I feel like
who
that's right up
knows?
his alley. The second he saw the
Probably.
guitar with the fire, I feel like he would have been sold. But
The second he saw, like, the giant board truck, I think you'd have been sold.
yeah,
Or
but
bus.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. What was
I
your other
forgive
question?
Block. This is I guess again this is goes to both of you guys, but more so towards Skylar because he watched all of the movies. Do you think going through the franchise was worth it to get to Fury Road?
I do not.
I knew you were gonna
Um,
say that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
first movie the first, like, one, I don't think if you cut out that movie, maybe. The first movie was so bad to me that, like, it's, like, hard to wanna watch anything with that title.
Yeah, that's so fair.
But I think if it was just 2 and 3, I would have said yes. Uh, because 2 overall wasn't terrible.
I like two.
3, I thought was, like, pretty average, and like, this movie was very good. So but 1 being painful was a real determinant like, a real, like, breaker
Yeah, that
and,
definitely
wanting to watch.
that's not just a straw that breaks the camel's back. That's putting everything on the camel and then shooting it in its legs.
Yeah, that's what happened there. It's like,
Yeah.
why isn't the camera standing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chandler, do you think it was worth it?
Yeah. I wish I didn't watch Furiosa because I think it kind of
That's
spoils
fair.
the appreciation of this movie. But I will say the first three are 100% completely and utterly necessary to watch this movie because again, like Furiosa kind of spoiled it for me. Um, and it's what made me like the movie. But I think you have like okay, let me just go back to it. When I tried watching that Fury Road, I couldn't. I
Right.
literally couldn't. But if I had understood the first three movies and where it came from, I would have loved it.
Huh.
I would have. I know. If I would have been able to sit through the first three, I would have loved this movie
Damn.
just to see where it came from and what it became.
That is, I wasn't expecting to hear that from you. That's a very well educated and thoughtful response.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're Skylar. That was a Twitter moment right there, dude. I literally said I like waffles, and you went, "Oh, so you hate pancakes?" That was exactly what that was.
Did someone say metal, Chandler? Or,
Chan, you're up 1-0 right now. You need to
Yeah,
chill. You
dude.
can't
Okay,
lose
come
right
on,
now.
man.
I
Don't
I've
even,
I haven't
don't
even had
even
a
with
shot
us.
at a medal like that.
I mean, I haven't. Well, actually, I did.
hey,
Have one.
wait. Can we give? Actually, we should give Sky a medal.
Yes,
for
Skylar
messing this.
deserves a medal for his acting in this episode. I like
Okay.
that. Definitely
I
is.
appreciate it.
I
tried
give that
really hard. I'm
easily.
not gonna lie.
But you thought about it and didn't propose it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
said I made a vow last episode that I wouldn't be spiteful. So if you said that, I would have given it to you.
Yeah,
So
it was,
I
I apologize. I didn't think about it.
I didn't
sooner,
think
'cause
about
it's
it either.
probably
I
the-
should have, because we were gassing him up too. We were talking about how awesome
Yeah.
it was. We should have thought about
I
that.
think I was just in such awe and shock.
I
couldn't
was, yeah.
process it.
It definitely
I
was
still can't
shocking and
process
awe-inspiring. It was
I'm
incredible.
glad I'm able to give you that twist in real life.
That
Um,
was a cinematic
Yeah.
moment right there, Skylar.
It was.
I don't think that could ever be
yeah, whenever
replicated.
that's why I put my hands like this, is because I knew Chandler was gonna guess really low,
Really?
and I was gonna laugh.
No. Oh,
So
dude.
that's why I had to move my hands over my cheeks and pull them down, so
I-
whenever I laughed, it wouldn't show up here.
My brain was
I
like
just love how you did this.
the funny
Yeah, I
thing,
went-
Skylar. The funny thing was if I went off of if Chandler didn't if I went first, I would have said 7, and then Chandler
Yeah.
was like 3, and I was like, ooh, maybe I didn't hear something, so I should lower it a little bit. So I went with a 6.
Yeah, you should have went with your gut. You would
I
have
should
won.
have gone with my gut. I would have got the medal. And then we
People
all
can
three
do
of
it.
us would have been tied, and we
Yeah,
would have done the
yeah.
rock, paper, scissors again. Or some
Yeah,
other
well.
challenge or something like that.
Next time I will not be hiding it for Furiosa. I will just be
Yeah.
outright
Can
telling
we
you what I think.
can we talk about how impressive it was that in the history of the podcast we've done like I think it's 115 episodes around that for this, and not a single one has gone to an hour, or right now we're at an hour and 17 minutes on one movie. I think the longest we've ever talked about a movie was me and Skylar. I don't remember what movie it was, but it was around 52 minutes. This is impressive. I think this is great, and it's
To
it's
be
a
fair, I was
no,
gonna
go ahead.
say
Yeah.
you are adding another person, so like it will like almost.
But we've
Multiply by
had
1.5.
3 people podcast before, and it's never gone that far. I think that adds to the credibility of how amazing this movie is.
Right. Yeah,
I
I
don't.
agree.
And I think
There's
a lot of it
there's a
was
lot to
both of
say.
you trying to figure out if I like the movie or not.
Whatever, dude.
So you're like saying things to try and get a reaction out of me, and
I
I'm
don't wanna-
refusing to give a reaction.
I don't want to hear it. Bullshit.
All right, we're gonna redact that medal now.
Yeah, we're taking back your medal.
Hey, you can't do
Okay,
that. We
we're-
have to unanimously
Yeah,
agree.
it does
and I
have
don't
to be
agree.
unanimous. It does have to be unanimous. That's okay. Whatever. All right. I had so much fun with this episode. I really hope that anyone watching it had a blast. If you guys thought this was great, if you guys knew what Skylar's number was, comment down below and be honest. If
Yeah,
you
and
were fooled
please
by
tell
it,
me what gave it away, because
Yeah.
I need to work on my acting.
yeah, honestly, dude. Dude, I have a film major. I don't think I could act like that, dude. You fucking killed that. I also was like looking at you a lot because I avoided you last time because I was like, I don't want to see what his reaction is, and I was like, I want to see what it is this time, and I was like, interesting. Okay, I was trying to study you, and you nailed it. You killed it. You did great. All right,
Thank you.
we'll see you guys next week with Furiosa, and on that week we're gonna decide either one of them is gonna get another medal. But somehow we are going to decide what movies we do after that. All right, everyone. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
I have a great time.